Okay, so I'm going to try and show you how to do the shoulder increases. And what I've here is a small swatch, and I started a ribbing garter stitch, and then I put my markers where my shoulder seams are. So I have 4 stitches for the shoulder here and 4 over here, and in between I started out with 8 in the back, 4 in the front, and 4 on the other front. So it's a miniature version of what we're trying to do, and you can see here I already did 2 increase rows, one on the right side and one on the purl side, and both of those increases look exactly the same on the front. So you have this strand of yarn that goes up, below, and then back down underneath the front, and the same thing happens for that purl increase. And these are make one rights. So make one purl right here and make one right on the knit side. So we go across our shoulder stitches, and then we have the same thing over here, and these are make one lefts. And here the strand of yarn is going up, down, and underneath, and then the same thing happens here, up, down, and underneath the front. So those are leaning to the left, both of them. So what we would do is the pattern says knit your front stitches. So we're going to do that. Pretend like we're knitting our whatever 8 front stitches, but I only had 4 here to begin with, to the marker. And then we're going to make one right. And with a make one right, you take your left needle and lift the strand of yarn between 2 stitches from the back to the front, and then you knit through the front of that stitch. There's a make one right. And there you can see how that strand is twisted around, and it's the same as the one below it and the one below it. So you want that strand of yarn to twist exactly the same way all the way down the row. So slip the marker, knit the shoulder stitches, slip the marker, and now we're going to make one leaning towards the left. So we're going to pick up that strand of yarn from the front to the back and then knit through the back of that loop. And then knit our back stitches to the other shoulder. So here's a make one right. I usually use my right hand and I don't want to confuse anyone, so I'll try and use my left. Make one right, so from the back to the front and knit through the front. Shoulder stitches, slip marker, and then make one that's left leaning. Sorry about that. So from the front to the back and then knit through the back. So knit to the end and turn. So purl the front stitches, and the first one we're going to do is a make one purl left. And what that means is, on the purl side, of course, we want it leaning towards the right, but we're referring to the right side of the fabric when we say left. So I know that's very confusing, and I hope that that's the right name for it, make one purl left. But the technique goes like this. So you're going to go from the front of the work to the back. No, I'm sorry, from the back to, now I'm confused. From the front to the back, and then you're going to purl through that back loop. So this is make one purl left. And if we turn it around and look at those, how that loop is lined up, it's always the same down the line. It goes underneath and then back through, underneath and back through, and that's always the same, whether you're doing it from the purl side or the knit side, that make one left. So I'll do that again, just to be sure we know what we're talking about. So pick up that strand from the front to the back, and then purl, twisting it through the back. That's make one purl left. So then we purl the shoulder stitches, those 4, slip the marker. Now we want to make one purl right. So then we would pick it up from the back to the front and purl through that front loop, like that. Purl the back stitches. So now make one purl left from the front to the back, pick it up, and then purl through the back. Slip marker, then make one purl right from the back to the front, and then purl through that front leg of that picked up stitch. And all you want to do is make sure that all those twisted picked up stitches are all going in the same direction, and that way you get a nice clean edge. And there are holes there, but these, once you get further down, they start to get themselves to come together. It's just that it's stretched out right now, that there are holes, and I wouldn't worry too much about that as long as you're doing everything nice and tight and not knitting too loosely when you're making the increases. So I hope that helps you out a little bit with your problems, and please let me know if there's more questions. Thank you.